Hello everyone, this is In-Game Arts. We do the unboxing or breakdown of the demo. This is Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon for the PlayStation 4. Now, to start things right off, there were no updates available since the making of this video, as well as the game comes with the update version 1.01 on disc, which is very nice because it means that we have a complete physical copy version of the game all on disc. Now, sadly though, this is a limit run physical copy, so therefore getting a copy will not be the easiest. Now, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is a prequel to the upcoming release game of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. If you do not know about the Bloodstained series or the point of the game or just the overall what is it? Bloodstained is a Kickstarter project that was made from the original creator of the Castlevania series. Well, he wanted to get a Kickstarter project going tried to recreate the Castlevania series back to the original Metrovania, 2D, and so forth. Well, during that Kickstarter, there was a crowdfund campaign to reach a certain amount of limit, and that was to create an NES prequel to the game, the upcoming game he's going to be releasing. And that's this, Curse of the Moon. The game was meant to create the original feel of the old Castlevania style game with the NES cartridge, with 8-bit music, almost 8-bit graphics as well as setting and play style of the old way. And I have to say, it's done incredibly well, amazingly well, to be frank. If this was just a campaign just to make this game, I would have been just pleased with this. The game, it plays, it functions, it works really well. There's 4 characters you unlock throughout the game. There would be the main character you start as well as you unlock the character you will be playing at in the releasing sequel coming up soon. And you will unlock 2 other characters. I will try to leave spoilers as minimum as I can and not show those extra characters, but I'll only show you the first character and the second character to give you something to look forward to. As I said though, these characters, you unlock them, and when you do, they all have their own abilities, attributes, and functions to them, as well as they all have their own strengths and weaknesses to them, which is actually kind of cool, and it was kind of fun to be able to switch between the characters, as well as to knowing which one will be better in this situation to take on this enemy or this environment situation, as well as some of them has some beneficial abilities they can cast that will be able to transfer to other characters. So you can make like a shield of fire around cast out a shield of fire around the character, but you can switch to another character and have long-range weaponry with her whip and so forth. So I think that was very well done and very rewarding, as well as the game has unlockable difficulties. When you start the game up, it starts off on normal difficulty, and you beat that, you unlock nightmare difficulty, and then you continue in the story through there to continue on with it. And when you do beat the game on normal difficulty, don't think you just beat the game. You need to go play through a nightmare difficulty to even get more of the story as well. So it's got a lot of content for just a simple game, and it's very addicting and very rewarding, and not too hard for beginners out there. So, like I said, it does get kind of hard later on in higher difficulties, of course, but in case you're not as good and stuff like that, some might be disappointed that it's not as punishing as the old original Castlevania's games could be. But I mean, games back then were made difficulty just to make the game longer. It wasn't really there to make as a functionality for the game. It's just trying to make the game gruelingly painful to play. But the one downside about the game is that fighting bosses, which the boss fights are really amazing. I think they did a pretty darn good job with them. But disappointingly, they don't have a life bar for the bosses. I was not a fan of this, as even the original Castlevania had health bars for the bosses, all of the bosses. So I felt a little disappointed that I couldn't tell how much damage or how close I was winning and so forth. I was a little disappointed about that, and I don't see why they couldn't include it into this one. But that's probably my really biggest gripe with the game. Everything else functioned and played and did really well. I loved all the characters, the story, the music, the environment. Though I am a sucker for sprite graphics, and I do love these retro, how do I like to call them, new age retro games, where they're made into nowadays era, but have the old retro style feel and play style and music and so forth. I really appreciate that, and I'm glad to see these kind of games being created. And it just makes me even more pumped up to play the sequel it's going to be releasing here soon. So, for the most part, I have to highly recommend this to add it to your collection if you can get a hold of a copy. It was fun, it was enduring, it was challenging, but not too painful to play. And it just felt rewarding every single second away. And every kind of secret I found and every character I used had a purpose and design around it. I was just generally impressed with this small little NES game. And I've always sat here and thought about these new age retro games. What would have happened if this game instead got released back in the old days, in the NES days or Super Nintendo days? What if these old games released then? I wonder what kind of impact or what limitations that would have been done back then to get the game to run, you know what I mean? It's just always something I thought about when I played these old games. But regardless, I have to highly recommend it. If you can get a copy, try to get a copy because it's really well, and again, it is a prequel, so if you do pick up the main game that is going to be releasing here soon, this will be definitely sought after for collection purposes to have the prequel, because I do not believe the main release game is going to be coming with this, but you can buy the game digitally. It's almost available on every platform, so if you don't want to spend the big buku bucks to get a physical copy, you can still get it digitally, which I still recommend it through there just to play it, and if you're a fan of these older style games, then it's right up your alley. So like always, I will leave links down in the description for the instant copy, which again I recommend. I had a blast. I'm going to be picking it up and playing it again until the main release comes out. So thank you all for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos from me, and I'll see you guys in my next episode. Bye bye.